Today we're talking about one of the strangest cannabis stories of the year. A 63-year-old grandmother was arrested at an international airport after authorities say they found 31 kilograms, which is almost 70 pounds, of cannabis hidden inside of her luggage. The woman claims that the bags were handed to her during a trip paid for by her daughter, but investigators aren't buying it. So the question is, was this elderly lady an innocent grandmother caught up in a nightmare, or was she secretly one of the most unlikely cannabis kingpins / drug traffickers the world has ever seen? This is the story of the alleged Ganja Grandmother Queen. Rolling! Okay, what's going on to my G7 family? It's Big Dre, aka the G7 Snowman of G7 Genetics, and today I have a crazy story time for you. Alright? It's about a 63-year-old woman who was arrested for moving weight. I'm talking about 68 pounds of cannabis. Weight. Alright? Let me start with the verified facts, and then we can get into the theories. And I want to hear what you guys think is the real scenario. So in the comments, I want to hear your thoughts of what you think really happened, right? But let me give you the verified facts first. A 63-year-old woman identified as Ting Hung Keong was arrested by Nigeria's National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, otherwise known as the NDLEA. Authorities say she arrived at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos, Nigeria on May 17, 2026 after traveling from Thailand through Dubai on an Emirates flight. The NDLEA alleges they discovered approximately 31 kilograms, which is the equivalent of 68 pounds of cannabis, weed, ganja, marijuana, also known as Canadian Loud. The specific type that she had is called Canadian Loud, and it was concealed inside of 2 large travel boxes. During questioning, she reportedly claimed she worked as a caregiver in Malaysia and that her daughter paid for the trip, and that the luggage was given to her in Thailand for delivery in Nigeria. She was arrested and taken into custody pending prosecution. Now here are the possible penalties that she's facing for this action. Alright? News reports do not yet indicate a sentence because she has been arrested but not convicted. However, Nigeria has some of the toughest drug trafficking laws in the world, Craig. If convinced of importing that quantity of cannabis, she can potentially face many years in prison under Nigerian narcotics law. The exact penalty would depend on the charges filed and the court's findings.
At first glance, she looked like somebody's grandmother. 63 years old, short, quiet, a little tired. The kind of woman you'd help lift her suitcase into the overhead compartment. Nobody looked twice. That was exactly the point. As she slowly pushed her luggage through the airport terminal, customs agents watched hundreds of travelers pass by. Businessmen, students, tourists, families. And then there was her. 2 oversized suitcases, a nervous glance, a brief hesitation, just enough to trigger suspicion. Minutes later, agents would unzip those bags and allegedly discover over 30 kilograms of cannabis hidden inside. But here's where the story gets strange, because nobody could agree on who she really was.
Now, theory 1 is called the Ganja Queen. What if she wasn't some innocent old woman? What if she was actually the boss, the mastermind, the queenpin? Think about it. Drug enforcement agencies spend decades profiling smugglers, young men, street criminals, gang members, people who fit a certain stereotype. But who would suspect a grandmother? How long has she been doing this? Has she been running game for a long time? Or was this the first time? What if she figured out the perfect disguise wasn't a disguise at all? What if she spent years building a network stretching from Thailand to Africa, moving product right under everybody's nose, never carrying a weapon, never raising her voice, never attracting attention, just smiling, waiting, watching, collecting millions? Some investigators would later whisper that this was no first-time smuggler trying to do a shipment of 70 fucking pounds. 31 keys, that's not personal use. That's weight, not a mistake. It's business. Big business. The kind of business run by people who think they're untouchable. And maybe she did. Until that day. Who knows? That's theory one. Theory number two is the sacrifice. This is far darker. Now imagine this. You're 63 years old, your daughter calls, she tells you she has a surprise, a free vacation, plane tickets already paid for, hotels covered. All you have to do is carry a couple of bags for a family friend. Would you ask questions? Most parents trust their children, right? Maybe somebody saw an elderly woman and realized she'd make the perfect mule. Maybe she never packed the suitcases. Maybe she never opened them. Maybe she honestly believed she was carrying gifts. And the moment those bags were opened, her entire life exploded or imploded. Because in the drug world, innocent people are often the easiest to manipulate and use as mules. Theory number three. Now this is where it gets interesting. Maybe she knew, but maybe she didn't know everything. Maybe she was struggling financially. Maybe someone offered her money, more money than she'd ever seen. Maybe she was told it was just one trip, just one flight, just one favor. Maybe she convinced herself, hey, it's not a big deal. It's one time. Until she saw the customs agents approaching. Until she felt her stomach drop. Until she realized there was no turning back. Sometimes people don't start off as criminals. Sometimes they make one desperate decision and then another desperate decision, and that single decision changes everything forever. Imagine the moment at the airport, the zipper opens, the room goes quiet, the agent stares, she stares. 31 kilos of cannabis right there in front of you. A mountain of weed. The kind of quantity that turns a routine inspection into international news. Almost 70 pounds of cannabis in 2 suitcases. One second you're a grandmother coming home from vacation. The next second your photo is everywhere. Headlines, social media, news reports. Millions of people asking the same question. Who is she really? What does she really know? Is she a ruthless cannabis kingpin, a victim, or something in between? So, the question is, you had the facts, you had the theories. Go to the comments and let me know what you think really happened and what do you feel is fair for this elderly lady caught with 70 pounds at a Nigerian airport. This is a real story. Look it up. Big Dre, G7 Genetics, we cover all things cannabis. Like, comment, and subscribe.